everyone, my name is NiccoleAshely. To start off my new makeup channel, I'm actually going to be showing you guys a natural foundation routine that I use every day for just school or just going out or whatever. I find that it's just really lightweight for me personally, and it covers everything that I need it to. So you can start. I've already toned my face with a cotton ball and just some regular, I believe it's Neutrogena toner, and I've also moisturized my face. So other than that, we're ready. Okay, so what I'm first going to start out with doing is I'm going to be using the Maybelline New York Instant Age Rewind, the lifter, and it's foundation and primer in one. And I actually love this a lot. It just goes on smooth, and this actually has an airbrush finish, and I think it retails for about $13 or $14 depending on where you go to. I got this from Walgreens because it's the closest drugstore to me, but I'm sure you can find it much cheaper at Walmart. So normally I would apply my foundations with a Sigma Kabuki brush, but I find that this works better when I use my fingertips. And I know you shouldn't do that. I've washed my hands before even doing this, so I'm okay with that. So all I'm going to do, and one squirt with this is okay. This is actually matches my skin tone. I know you're supposed to use a foundation that's 2 shades darker, but I find once I put this on and use my setting powder, it's like the perfect color that I like. So all I'm going to do is just squirt a little bit out of my hand. Just one pump is all I need, and you get that much. You don't need a lot with this. It covers pretty well. So I'm just going to apply this where I want my foundation to be. So pretty much all over the face. Spread out, and I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you might be able to. And just all around. Okay, now I'm just going to go in and apply this all over my face. You can kind of focus it under your eyes, but I don't really do that, and you'll find out why in a second. I don't even use concealer underneath my eyes. I use a very light foundation because I find that that just works better for me, and it's also a lot smoother, and I don't have problems with it. To whereas the concealer that I use MAC Studio Finish, will just settle into my fine lines, and it will crease. And this is the Covergirl's Mineral Powder in Translucent Light. And just a little forewarning, if you're setting your foundation with this, it's going to be a lot darker than this color. It's going to be like a kind of dark skin color, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's pretty late. So all I do is I just put some in the lid, and then I take my Tarte Kabuki brush and I just swirl a little bit around, tap off the excess, and then I just begin to press it all around my face. I don't use any kind of swirling movements. Oh, my Adam's apple. I don't use any kind of swirling movements. I just kind of tap it, because the makeup school that I attended taught me that the best way to start it out is by tapping it into your skin rather than brushing it all around, because that's what you're going to eventually do once everything's all finished. But for right now, we're just going to pat it in. So I'm going to quickly do that. Take off the excess. And I like to apply a lot of setting powder, because I find that I have combination skin. I get very dry, but because of that, I apply a lot of moisturizer, and I just find that because I apply so much moisturizer, my skin tends to be very moisturized and almost oily. But that's just how much moisturizer I have to apply for my skin. And my foundation will end up wearing off by a very short amount of time. So I just find that this works better for me. Okay, now what we're going to do now, but what I use for my under eye actually is the Maybelline New York Instant Age Rewind Eraser Treatment Makeup. And this is actually a foundation, but I find that it works best if I use it underneath my eyes because it brightens it up and it stays all day. And I don't believe, oh, this does have this color is 130 Buff Beige, and I believe that this is the latest color in this line. So I'm just gonna squirt a little bit up. Now I think, say, even that was just too much. I could have only used a tiny bit, so just gonna rub that around. Now what we're gonna do to apply the concealer is we're gonna go in a triangular movement. We're gonna go down this way and up. I actually might have did that a little bit too far. Down and up. You can always just blend it out. Yeah, that's good. And you know what, I'll just apply it in my problem areas. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an e.l.f. blending wedge and I'm just going to, in a V movement, just along what we just made. Just pat the foundation into the skin so that way brightens the under eye. Okay. You never want to just like smear it. You want to kind of like use patting movements because that's what I find works the best. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a translucent powder because I find that if I use my Covergirl mineral powder on my under eye, it will also darken it. So I want to use, because I'm using a light foundation, I want to use a translucent powder so that way it kind of like works together to stay light and not turn a different color, because I don't want it to blend in with my face. I don't want it to be too white to where it looks like my eyes are like Casper, but then I also don't want it to blend in, so this just gives it like the perfect color. And for this I'm going to be using my Eco Tools, I guess it would just be a powder brush. I'm just gonna, oh, and I'm also using NYC Smooth Skin Pressed Face Powder and Translucent. And I'm gonna just tap some in there, and then in the same V movement, just work my way up. And then I'm gonna do the same with the other eye once that's set. And I'm sure you can see that my under eyes are much more brighter. I'm going to use patting movements once again. Never want to just smear, because then it'll give your face kind of harsh look. Okay, so once that's done, next I'm going to move on to bronzer. What I'm going to be using is my Sephora, I guess it would be just contour brush. The bronzer that I'm going to be using is Mineral Loose Powder Physicians Formula, and it's just loose bronzer and in a loose powder. Sorry. And this is what that looks like. It actually came with a kooky brush, but I took it off because I didn't really have any use for it. So I'm just going to open that up, take my brush, and take the lid. I'm not going to dip it straight in because it might come out too orange, and that's not, you don't ever want to go for orange when you're doing a makeup look. So just going to dip some in right there, get some on my brush, blow it off. I don't think the tapping always works with the bronzer. And you're going to want to start, the fishy face always works, but a good trick to remember that I've also learned from somebody off YouTube, I learned it from Jacqueline Hill, is that you want to start from the top of your ear and do not go past the arch of your eyebrows. So you just want to go from there to there, from there to there, and you won't be able to go wrong. So I'm just going to suck in, and also the place where you first put your brush with the bronzer on it is where it's going to be the darkest. So you want to just remember that. So and just like that. So it's where you can barely see it, but you want to kind of blend in. And I kind of like to bring it up so it's not like it's just like a harsh line. And that's good for me. So then I'm going to take a little bit more bronzer on this, slightly tap it off, blow on it, and then do the same with this. Make sure they're even. I'm going to need a little bit more. Okay. So it looks about even. So next what we're going to do is just to make sure that everything's going good. I'm not going to put any more product on this brush, no powder, no nothing. And this is where I said we're going to be working with the swirling movements. I wouldn't do it while I'm setting my makeup, but now that the powder's on it and it's set, we don't want the bronzer to look like we have a straight line. So we want to kind of blend it out at least a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to suck in and I'm going to blend it all around. Not all around, but in upward motions. Just like that. So that way it's subtle, but it's not like right there, like in your face. Unless that's what you want, then by all means, but that's not the look that I'm going for. So okay, now that they're both blended out, the next thing that I'm going to do is apply my lipstick. Now because this is a natural, all I would do with the brows would be to just brush them out. I don't always wear my eyes with eyeshadow, but the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to actually do a eye using the Naked palette and the Too Faced Natural Tonight palette, so look for that. But I am going to throw some lip color on just so that it's not too natural. So right now I'm going to be using Revlon's Super Lustrous Color Lipstick in Just Buff Enough 613. It looks like this. I love this color. Best neutral color ever. It's like the best lip color. So just going to start at the lip and kind of work my way out. Same with the top lip. Now normally I would use a nude lip liner under this, but because it's a everyday, like neutral, natural kind of look, I don't want to look like I'm too made up. So there you have it. It is an everyday, natural foundation tutorial look, and I hope you guys like it. So please subscribe and let me know what kind of videos you guys would like, and I'll be more than happy to do them for you.